Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel again. I'm out in the field. I just got done filming the Becker Patrol Pack review and the junk on the bunk for a 3-day trip. So what I wanted to do as I'm gearing up, I actually want to kind of show you how things get layered, okay? I have a very layered approach to things. I've talked about my line system in the past. So right now, the way you see me is line one. Okay, this is my line one gear that I'm wearing right now. You can actually see I've got my belt knife on and I've got some items in my pockets as well. So let's talk about that. First, line one is your clothing. Okay, I've got my sunglasses. These are ballistic lenses as well. So they help kind of just help me to see better and help protect my eyes. I do have a hat on, and also the clothing that I'm wearing, this Kuyu shirt, has a hood. And you would think a hood is really only usable in cold weather, but I actually really like it. I'm in a pretty shady area right now, but when I'm hiking and it's sunny, I love to pull this hood up just to keep the sun off my back and off my neck. Okay. It's also great in the evening for keeping like mosquitoes and stuff off of you. It's made from a lightweight merino wool, and what's I'm kind of merino wool and I have a love hate relationship sometimes. I feel like, um, of course, it helps keep you cool. It is a good wicking layer. It also helps keep you warm as well. And that's great because right now during the daytime, I might get hot and be sweating, and that'll help me stay cooler. And then later on tonight, if I was going to stay out here tonight, of course, it could help keep me drier, or I'm sorry, help keep me warmer as well because it still insulates when it's wet. It just has kind of a, if you're used to cotton or other synthetic, um, merino wool kind of has a almost, it just feels kind of slimy to me when it gets wet. So I don't know if I care for how it feels, but I do love the function of it, and so that's why I wear it. Um, got a set of just elastic suspenders because when you do have this equipment in your pants and you're hiking, it's nice to keep your pants where you want them. My belt is what I call my line one belt. This is a prototype of a product that I'm thinking about making. This one's 2 years old, so it's had plenty of prototype time. And essentially, it's a storage type belt, 2-inch webbing, and inside of it, I've got, and I'll link to an article where I detailed how I did this, but basically, I've got water purification and fire making gear inside this belt. And so, literally, if I had to just cut and run right now, Chinese paratroopers just drop out of the sky and I have to run away, I can still take care of very basic needs between what's in my belt. And that's kind of the whole purpose of your line one gear, is to be able to take care of your basic needs. Okay, so I've got that stuff in my belt. I also have my belt knife, of course, my bush hunter knife that I make, high carbon steel, very good knife. I've got a 1/2 by 6 inch ferro rod in the sheath, and then of course on the pouch on the front, I've got some cordage, I've got my Leatherman, and I have a Mylar space blanket. So I do have basic shelter and fire taken care of, and with those items in my line one belt, I've got some high temp water bags, so I can either boil water or I can use the chlorine dioxide tabs that are stored in my belt to disinfect water. So really, I have water, shelter, and fire just between those items. I'm not going to go out and rebuild civilization with those items, but they're enough that I can get out of the immediate harm where I'm at and get to somewhere safer, and hopefully somebody can help me out. Okay, my pants are the True Spec 24/7, I think, if I remember right. I really like these pants. I've had quite a few pairs of them, and I just can't ever find anything that I feel like is worth the money to upgrade from. Um, it has a nice large cargo pocket on the side, which I really like because I can store my topo map in there. And I just keep my topo map inside this Ziploc bag. Now, it's a waterproof map anyways, but I have a lot of these topo maps, and I fold them all into 6x6 squares. This is actually a much larger map, but I like to have my navigation gear easily accessible. So I want my map. For one, I want it on me so that, like I said, if I have to cut and run right now, my map's not going to do me any good if it's over here in my pack. Okay, I want it on me, so at least I can navigate. And then my compass right here is also easily accessible. This is just the Sunto MC2. It's a great compass. It's probably the best compass out there that I know of right now. It's, contrary to what some people think, it's far and above the military Kamanga compasses, especially for nighttime use. I know the Kamanga has tritium, which is great, but it's just a few little spots of tritium. And what I really like about this compass for nighttime navigation, and I'm going to do a whole video on that later, but go ahead and grab your Kamanga and try to do land nav at night with night vision on. Go put a PVS 14 on and do some land nav. And you'll find that it's kind of sucks. Where this, I can, with a PVS 14 at night, I can utilize this exactly the same way, just as accurately as I can in the daytime. In a Kamanga, you can't really say that. The design of the Kamanga is also way less accurate than this. But anyways, let's get off that topic. So compass there, map there. My protractors are in my team leader bag or team leader book that's in my pack. And so really once I've got my plots, my grids plotted on my map, I'll usually write down the route. And so I'll have that on me so I don't have to sit and dig that stuff out constantly. Over in this pocket, I've just got a dummy cord. Not my chapstick though. With two small Photon lights. And Photon is an American company. They make these little LED lights. And I've got a red one. Not sure if you can see that in the daylight. And then this is actually an ultraviolet one. And kind of getting back to the compasses real quick, the main argument I always see about the Kamanga is, well, it has tritium. Okay, fair enough. Tritium does go bad over time, by the way. But this UV, anybody that's familiar with photoluminescent tape, paint, etc., when you hit it with a UV light, it just charges it up extremely fast. You're probably talking 5 seconds with this UV light, and you'll have enough brightness for an hour of use with this compass. So, I mean, if every time you stop and do a map check at nighttime, you just recharge this with this UV light or any other light source. Of course, it works with red light and white light, but UV really activates it quite fast. If you just do that once in a while when you need to, I really feel like the Kamanga is not worth the money. Now, granted, they're extremely durable, and they are a good compass, but I just think this one's better. So anyways, on this dummy cord, I've also got a small pill capsule with Tinder Quick tabs inside of it, and a Bic lighter, and it's got a 550 cord loop taped on the back of it with some Gorilla tape. I've got a rubber band up here holding the gas button up so it doesn't accidentally get pressed. It's still usable though. So it's just kind of little fire making items to kind of supplement what I've already got on, with this ferro rod and then the Tinder Quick tabs in my belt. So I'm pretty well prepared for fire making there. Then over in this pocket, I've got just a pair of slip-on mechanics gloves, earth tone colors, of course. Then going down, my boots are the Loa Z8s with Gore-Tex. These boots are awesome boots. They're not the most comfortable as far as, if you had to stand in these boots a lot, on concrete or something. They're not comfortable like an athletic shoe is comfortable, but you get out in rough terrain, on the slopes, slippery terrain, they offer very good support and good traction. And so I guess while they may not be the most comfortable, they're my favorite field boot. Okay, so that's pretty much my line 1 gear. Nothing real crazy there. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw on my line 2 gear, go over that real fast. Okay guys, so I've gone ahead and added my line 2 gear. Now my line 1 is my survival load, and line 2 is my line 1 is my survival load. Line 2 is my scouting and fighting load, okay? Essentially, line 2 is the equipment that I use to detect either threats or targets, however, whatever circumstance you're in there, and also engage those threats or targets. I can defend myself, or I can project force however I need to whatever the scenario is. You know, if it's tactical and I need to project force or defend myself from other people. If I'm just hunting, obviously I can still project force onto my game animals. And so here I'm just using my Hill People Gear Recon kit bag. On the front, I've got a small radio pouch. I've got a cat tourniquet holder on the bottom, accessible with both hands. And then my 8-power SIG Kilo range finding binoculars. Inside, I've got my truck keys, but I've also got three more rifle magazines, a small cutting tool, one of my solar compass patches, a headlamp. Over here, this is essentially my IFAK. I've got a 4-inch emergency trauma dressing, quick clot, and some Z-folded gauze. And then over here, I've kind of got an admin pocket with some instructions for that SIG Kilo rangefinder binos. I've got a small orange signal panel that I made that also has like commonly used radio frequencies and stuff on it. And then a piece of 1-inch square of glow-in-the-dark tape. So this is kind of a multi-use item. And then I've got a small notepad with a pencil, a whistle in here, and also some Shaka Cola. Kind of just a nice little pick-me-up during the day. Of course, my whistle's dummy corded. So just kind of some basic signal items. I'll go ahead and put this rifle up for a second. So your line 2 gear, you know, whether it's in a more fighting context or like this one where it's more kind of general purpose hunting and defense, it's really there to provide a means for you to signal with your team and also defend yourself. And so by defending myself, I'm meaning supporting my primary fighting weapon. And so that's why I've got the rifle magazines on here. Now, you're not going to be able to speed reload out of this like you would a dedicated fighting rig, but it still works quite well. Now, this Recon kit bag from Hill People Gear does have a third pouch in the back, third compartment rather, where you could put a full-size pistol. I don't currently have anything in there. I kind of just use it as an extra admin pouch for different things at times. So between that and the rifle, that's my line 2 gear. Okay, so now I've gone ahead, put on my line 3 gear, which is this pack, which is my sustainment gear. Now, a pack like this, I've talked in the past about doing either line 3A and line 3B, where you can kind of split things up. This is kind of just your general purpose. This combines both into one. Basically, you're going to be carrying this thing all the time. I like to get into, when I'm hunting and stuff, I like to be able to split it a little more than I do here. This is just a great general purpose setup. And so you can kind of see how everything fits together. And this is why I really prefer chest-mounted line 2 gear, whether it's a chest rig or a kit bag like this, because I want my pack to fit the way it was designed to. You know, if I was trying to wear an LBE right now, I'd have canteens, butt pack, water bottles, whatever in the way, magazine pouches in the way. Your pack's really designed to utilize its hip belt to be efficient. And if you can't utilize that hip belt, you're really going to suffer a lot unnecessarily. And I don't feel like an LBE system, and I've ran one a lot, and I've also ran chest-mounted systems a lot. I don't really feel like the LBE really does anything for you that a chest-mounted system with a day pack at a minimum does also. That's probably the one benefit of the LBEs. You can put all that stuff together. You know, you can have your butt pack, you can have your canteens, water bottles. You can have kind of 24 hours worth of stuff on one item that you just put on and go. And I ran that for a long time. But when we're talking about backcountry where you're going to be carrying a pack, that's where the butt pack and the LBE system just gets in the way. And so for backcountry use, I really am a fan of chest mounted solutions. And I kind of just wanted to show that and kind of explain that. Now, normally when I'm moving, my rifle's up here just like this, okay? Depends on if I'm in a group though. You know, if I'm by myself, I don't have to worry about flagging anybody. I can pack my rifle like this. It's very well balanced, and it's quick to shoulder, easy to shoulder. So I prefer having my rifle unslung most of the time, but you kind of do it the way you want to. So anyways, I just wanted to do a quick video kind of showing line 1, line 2, and line 3 all put together in the field and kind of what that looks like. Thanks for watching.